Feel the waves cut through me, hypnotized by the sounds I'm breathing in. Hold tight, chemicals collide. Hold tight, hold tight, hold tight. Dripping lights paint the skies, all because of you. Dripping lights paint the skies, only you can make me move. You can make me move. Can make me move. You can make me
Great.
Yeah, I hope you are doing very well.
Yes, I'm good.
Yeah, thank you so much for sacrificing your time. We have many people looking forward to today's meeting.
I'm excited for it.
Yeah. So let's just wait at least 2 minutes and then we can start. And hello to Valerie. I hope you are good. Is connected. Okay, I think I'm ready to start.
Okay.
Because since we are also recording, everything will be in the video. So yeah. Oh,
Perfect.
okay, perfect. Thank you so much, guys, for joining us. My name is Mbuyiselo Vilagazi. I'm the founder and CEO of Enable. This is a registered non-profit company that is aimed at transitioning young people from being leaders, from being followers to being leaders. And we also want to transition young people from being consumers to becoming creators and innovators. So the aim of Enable is to foster a commitment to young people to promote pro-social entrepreneurship, strong interpersonal skills, entrepreneurship skills, and mostly to reasset a sense of hope for the future. We assist young people by sharing with them the tools that will help them, help them to maximize their potential. So the aim of the Pioneers Guild virtual seminar is to cultivate that culture of innovation amongst young people, to inculcate the mentality of pioneering, and also to motivate young people to be able to take the road that is less traveled. So today we are speaking about social entrepreneurship, which is my favorite topic. And we have Amanda. Okay, I'm still going to do a proper introduction, but I'd like to quote to actually to take these words that I got from the internet when I was just reading about social entrepreneurship. I quote: "Democracies flourish when large numbers of citizens acquire the capacity to shape civic and economic life. Social entrepreneurship is a process that enables citizens to do that." And I think we can all agree. Our guest today once said about her program, Empowervate Trust. She said, "We aim to change the mindset we aim to change the mindset to one of it's going to be, it's up to me. Positive and proactive citizenship and social entrepreneurship, where citizens take responsibility for their future, their community, and their country." And ladies and gentlemen, allow me to welcome our guest on today's second episode, Amanda Blankfield-Koseff, who is the founder and CEO of Empowervate Trust. And I must also say that she is also in the 2018, if I'm not mistaken, inaugural class of leaders of in the Obama Foundation Africa. So, ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome Amanda Blankfield-Koseff.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. We're so happy having you today. And now I think just take it away with your presentation for today.
Okay, so social entrepreneurship. I think that the whole idea behind social entrepreneurship is making sure that you are not only creating a livelihood for yourself as an entrepreneur, but you're actually helping to fill the gap in society. So you're helping others at the same time. So a lot of entrepreneurs think that they just want to start a business to get rich. You know, they just want to make money. They just want to be in it for themselves. And that is not what we promote at Empowervate. We promote starting a business so that you can actually be an asset to society and you can expand, the reach to others, bring other people up while you going up. So that's the difference between social entrepreneurship and normal entrepreneurship. And I think a lot of companies are realizing that, and they're trying to convert themselves from pure entrepreneurs into social entrepreneurs. That's why we see a lot of organizations doing, CSI work, so corporate social investment, having a lot of involvement in their communities where they operate, providing bursaries, things like that. That's one step towards social entrepreneurship, but it's still a small part of their business. It's not a major part. I think when things are going to be really, flying in our country and in the world is when the social entrepreneurship becomes the rule, not the exception, where people actually realize that you can't make yourself better without helping others as well. Because in a society, you need to level the playing field so that everyone is up at the right level, not that you are high above them and they are still below you. So that's power dynamic is what needs to be fixed. So social entrepreneurship is about developing people, helping people with their own careers, helping them to understand what there is in the world and what they could be involved in, giving them skills, giving them a platform, giving them the opportunity to get mentorship. Mentorship is really important. And also to have a space where they can feel safe to talk about their own mental health and wellness. Because a big part of the world nowadays is realizing that that is not just about you being a productive member of your company. You just come to work, do your job, you go home. It's more holistic than that, because if someone in your organization is not doing well in the wellness and the mentality department, then they're not going to be doing their job well and they're not going to be happy. And either they're going to leave or they're going to have burnout, which we see a lot of, the stress that causes burnout. And also a lot of people get depressed. Depression is a huge problem. And I think communities now are understanding that it's not just like, oh, you're sad today, whatever, you get over it. It's a real problem. It's something that needs to be dealt with and needs to have care wherever you are. Like in an organization, you can't just ignore that fact. So a lot of coaching is actually happening now, life coaching, business coaching, things like that. But also I think the wellness element of meditation and mindfulness should come into organizations. Because if someone has a very calm, rational way of dealing with the world, then they'll do better in everything in life. That is the problem with a lot of organizations. They have people who are volatile. They don't know how to control their emotions. They start freaking out at the smallest thing. And then that causes more problems in your organization, because if they freak out in the office, they affect the morale of the other team members, especially if it's the boss being like that to the employees. Then it's just going to cause a whole lot of problems in the organization. But imagine that staff member has that problem with the customers. Then you're going to lose customers, then you're going to have reputation issues with your company. Suddenly it becomes an employee writing something on social media that is very negative, maybe it's racist, maybe it's sexist, we don't know. That kind of thing can destroy an organization. So you can't just think that you're employing someone to do a job and that's it. You're employing that person as a holistic being. So you should care for them in the same way. So that is social entrepreneurship to me. It's caring holistically for those you work with, seeing them as human beings, holistic people, not just people who are there to make you money. You're there to help each other. They help you in a way, you help them in a way. It's an equal partnership. And that's what I'd like to see more of happening. So Empowervate Trust, what we do is we actually run a program called the Youth Citizens Action Program, which works in schools across the country. And what we do in these schools is we provide project management skills. So it's a toolkit that explains how to run a project step by step as a social entrepreneur in training. So how to be an active citizen, how to have values, how to put those values in action, how to actually make a difference where you are right now as a young person. Because it's never too young, it's never too early for you to start making a change. That's the other thing that we believe in strongly, is that you don't have to be someone in government, you don't have to be someone in a big organization to make change in society. You can be a primary school learner and make change where you are in your school. You can actually go and find a problem that you want to solve, and you can work together to do that. And imagine if those young people who have these skills now become adults, they're going to be so advanced. They don't have to start learning all these skills when they finish school. They already have the skills. Now they just hone them and develop them and add more. So that's going to be even more beneficial to society and to them. I think the problem is that we focus on the academics of school only. And then when you finish school, you don't have any practical skills. You understand things, like you've learned things, you know how to memorize stuff, you know how to write an exam, you know certain topics, But then when it comes to putting it all into action, then you're clueless and you're shocked and you say, well, I don't understand. What do I do now? This is not what I thought life would be like. So that's why programs like YCAP are very important, because they develop young people into being problem solvers from a young age. So coming up with solutions, coming up with plans of action, budgeting, fundraising. And fundraising is a big one. You know, if you are fundraising for a certain project, first you learn those skills of how to fundraise, but then also that skill you can use when you become an entrepreneur, a social entrepreneur one day, and you need to get funding for a program that you're running. If you need to get funding for something, you can't just say, give me money, I've got this idea. You need to know how to pitch your idea. You need to know how to put a business plan together. All of that is what they learn during YCAP. So they'll have that foundation already as young people, so that when they grow older, it will already be in their minds. It won't be a huge shock. They'll know that they have to present. They have to stand in front of a panel of judges, which we do in the program, but then it will be the panel of investors when they grow up, who are actually tougher than the judges, because they are deciding whether you are worthy of getting their money to run your business. So you have to be able to market yourself. You have to be the product standing in front of them. You have to say, trust me. You know, they say they don't back the horse, they back the jockey, which means that they don't back the business, they back the person. So if you don't present yourself well, if you don't have the professionalism, if you don't speak with intention and authenticity, and you don't come across as someone that is trustworthy and knows where they're going and has a vision and wants to make a change and wants to make an impact, then why would they give you their money? They want to give someone money when they know that they're going to get a return on their investment. And that return should include social issues as well. So this program teaches young people to understand that there has to be a benefit to someone who's investing. So if they go and get fundraising, let's say they say, the bakery up the road, can I get some bread rolls from you as a donation, and I will sell them at the school, make money for my project. And then the company says, that's great, but what are you going to do for us? What's in it for us? And they say, no, actually, we're going to take your logo and put it all over our marketing materials, on our newsletters at the school. You'll be known as the bakery in this community who cares. You'll be known as the organization that has a heart. You're not just in it for profit. You actually want to make a difference in the community, and that will boost your sales as well. So then the company is like, okay, it's worth it for me to donate these roles, because actually we are getting benefit for it. Yes, we are helping, but we're also getting marketing benefit, which could relate to more sales. So whenever you are involved with any situation, you need to think about the benefits. What benefit are you providing? What value are you providing? We are in the world to provide value to each other. So if you know what that is, then you can help others to realize why they should work with you. And that is also with teamwork. You know, in our program, we teach young people how to be leaders, but also how to be followers. You can't have just leaders in a team, because then everyone wants to be in charge. Everyone wants to be the boss. Everyone wants their name up in lights. It doesn't work like that in the real world. So we teach them that someone has to be nominated the leader. That is the person who is accountable for the team. But that does not mean that the other team members don't do any work. The whole point of it is that there's someone who's accountable and gives structure, but other people in the team need to each have their role and their responsibility. And they need to be responsible and accountable for everything that happens in the project or in the organization. So that needs to be decided up front. So they have a meeting and they decide who's doing what, when are they doing it by, how are they doing it, and what resources do they need. And that gets documented in the minutes of the meeting. So that when they come back in a week's time or 2 weeks' time, then they can go back to those notes and they can check, you know, are people doing what they said they're going to do? Have they done the job that they were assigned? And if they have not, why not? Is there something that they need help with? Do they have a challenge? Do they not understand the question? So that is the point of having team meetings that are documented in a very professional way. Not just, oh, he said, she said, oh, did you really think I was going to do that? I don't remember. Did you want that to be done by this date? No, none of that confusion, because everything is written down, everything is documented, and it's done in a professional way. So then there's no name calling, there's no, getting angry with someone saying, no, why are you accusing me? And because that doesn't happen when something is written down and something is followed in a very strategic way. So team management is important, and that's something for life. You know, in the workplace, you're going to work in a team. It's going to be the same thing. Make sure that everything is run properly, so that when someone comes back and says to you, no, but you didn't do what you were supposed to do, you can say, no, actually, here are the minutes. It said that it's not me. It says here someone else is supposed to do that. So you have to have your own back. You have to have documentation. I know from working in the corporate world, you think it's all fun and you get your job and you just do what you're supposed to do, everything's fine. It's not really like that. it's basically like school again. It doesn't get better. There are going to be issues where people disagree, where people fight, where people accuse you of something, where you get into trouble with the human resources department. You need to have your information all ready so that you can show that you are not the person who did something wrong. And once you do that, then they can't say anything negative about you. So these are skills, these are life skills that we're teaching in the YCAP program. They're not just some little add-on program that's fun to do and there's a competition and they can win prizes and that's all great, but we just do that for the motivation. We motivate people to do their best because when there's a prize, people obviously want to put in their most, their best effort and put their best foot forward. But it doesn't mean that they're not learning along the way, and it doesn't mean that if they don't win that they've wasted their time. Basically, when you are on the road to winning something or on the road to competing for something, you are doing a lot, learning a lot, growing a lot. And that can't be taken away from you, whether you win or lose, because it's not about that. Whatever skills you get, you've always got. No one can take those away from you. And that's also what we teach in YCAP, is that it's not about being the best, being in the spotlight all the time. Sometimes it's your time to shine, sometimes it's someone else's time to shine. But it doesn't mean that you're not actually growing within yourself and learning something, competing in your own way against yourself to do better every time and to make a difference in people's lives. So the whole values component is very important, because I always say if you have people who are very good at maths and science, it doesn't mean that they're going to be good citizens, because they can use those skills for negative, right? Do you think that criminals and corrupt people are stupid? No, they're very clever. They're just not using their morals and values. They're using negative morals and values that they've got. So we need to teach young people to actually use those values from a young age so that they know that this is right and this is wrong, and they have a conscience and know, yes, it is easy to take that route, but it's actually wrong. And it's going to get me into trouble. It's going to get others into trouble. And God is going to see what I'm doing. Whether someone else does or not, God knows. So in the end, it comes back to that. Having that morality, saying, it's what you do and no one else is watching. That's what it's about. That's what integrity is. When you do something and you know within your heart that it's the right thing and you did it well and you have no bad feelings about it, then you know that you're fulfilling your values. So we teach young people that they need to develop this at an age where they are still, a sponge. They're still absorbing information. They're still learning. They're still growing, so that they don't grow in the wrong direction. Like, when you have a plant and like a creeper and it starts creeping in the wrong way and it goes in a strange pattern, a strange design, you can't fix that later. That's how it's going to continue growing. So rather start in the right path and grow with the right structure and the right direction, and then things will be a lot better in the end. And Boy, I don't know if you have our audience is going to have any questions. Maybe we want to open the floor for any discussions, or if you have any questions.
Yeah, okay. I think if anyone has a question, guys, please put it on the chat section, and then I will attend to the question. I do have a question, Amanda. You're speaking about caring holistically. Most people get into social entrepreneurship for different reasons, and I do believe that there are people who are like, okay, this can make this is easy money. I won't have to sell anything. People will just put in donors, and I will just run away with the money after that. And there are many actually organizations for real, and there are many organizations that are existing, and we do not see the impact. We've had this discussion between me and you that there are so many registered organizations, but when you can say, where's the work, there's no work. And you can actually find that some of them are actually the most funded and there's no work they can show. For me, I want to ask you, why is it important to have a good intention, as if someone wants to venture into social entrepreneurship?
So basically, when you start anything, your intention is what guides you. Your intention becomes your vision. It becomes the direction that you're going in. So if you don't have any direction, then you'll go anywhere, but you won't go where you want to go because you don't know where you want to go. So it's very important to set that intention from the beginning and say, this is what I want to achieve. This is the bigger picture. This is the long-term plan. You don't just start something that's going to be a get-rich-quick thing and then done in 5 minutes. It's a long-term process, and there will be milestones along the way. You start with a big vision, and then you develop the smaller goals that you reach each milestone until you get to your main goal. But a vision is supposed to be bigger than you and bigger than your organization. It's something that could take generations to build. Remember, when you plant a seed, you might not even be here to see the growth of that full tree. but you planted that seed and you nurtured it, and you know that seed is going to grow into that tree. Whether you're there or not, you're making a positive impact, right? That's why when people start businesses and then they sell them to someone else, they hope that it's going to continue on the same path because they set the foundations right in the beginning. And that is the goal, is to make sure that something is long lasting and it has value and it has something in it that is beneficial to others. So I think if you start a business with the idea of, I just want to make money, then that's a very short-term goal. And it doesn't really inspire anyone. It doesn't make anyone want to be part of your vision. That's not a vision. That's something that comes once you've got the values in place, once you've got everything working, then the money comes later. But you can't just have money as your goal, and you can't just have, the perfect lifestyle, the perfect house, the perfect car as your goal, because that actually won't make you happy. Sorry to say, but a lot of people who have those fancy houses and cars aren't happy because they don't have a purpose, they don't have a bigger vision, they aren't helping people. And that's what actually makes you happy, is when you are benefiting others. And it can be financially, it can be with mentorship, it can be with volunteering. It doesn't have to only be money, but when you are helping other people, that's when you feel good about yourself. And I'm sure you can realize that whenever you give charity or you give something to someone, don't you feel good about it? Doesn't it make you feel good? But that's exactly what it's about. It's about helping others, but not only in a charity way, but also in a development way. When you develop someone and help them reach their goals, then you feel good because you've made a positive impact. But it's not about putting your name up there and saying like, look at me, I'm helping everyone, how amazing am I? It's not about that. That's not real giving. Real giving is from the heart and from the soul. It's not about the marketing of it. That's why I get upset sometimes when companies come and they say, I'm going to give you this donation. It's really like, it's an old stock, it's ugly, it's broken, whatever, but you must give it to all the beneficiaries and then take photos and we'll put it all over the media and advertise how great we are. Then I get upset because it's not really beneficial. It's not helping people. They just want their name up there as marketing. So I hope that answers your question.
Yes, you did. Thank you so much for that. We actually learning a lot. And I have a question that is coming up right now. The first question is from Knox. He's asking that, okay, he's saying, we have a social entrepreneurship project that we need help to take direction, especially youth in social movement. How do we get funding and startup? Our organization is South Africa Volunteer Work Camp Association. That's the first question. Then the second question is from Becky Shabangu. The question is, how do you market your idea or your vision and make people buy your vision, support it in the process of helping people? Those are the two questions that we have.
Okay, so it's two interesting questions. Thank you for that. So the first question was, how do you actually get funding? So let me tell you the secret. The secret is you have to first start. You have to do something and prove that you can do it, because no one wants to buy an idea. No one wants to buy a concept. You have to show that it is working, that you actually did something to make it happen, do a pilot project, find the money, sell cakes, bake something, find a way to make it happen in a small way. Just a small way, and document it. Put it in a presentation and have evidence and have testimonials from the beneficiaries that you're working with, testimonials from the volunteers you're working with, and then take that with your business plan. And then you go and ask a company, would you like to support this? Would you like to identify with our project? Because that's when they're like, oh, okay, look, they've put their money where their mouth is. They've actually risked something to make this happen. They've shown that it works and that with more funding, it can work even better and it can grow. Yes, we want to be involved. We see potential, we see future, we see a value here. So just going somewhere and saying, we've got this beautiful idea, it's not going to work. You have to actually have something already happening that's going to make people understand what you're doing and buy into it. So that's the first question. The second one was also about marketing. How do you make people buy into your idea? The first thing is you have to buy into your idea. You have to know exactly where you're going and what you're doing. You have to have the document there. And when I say document, it doesn't have to be 15 pages of all this text. It can be a one-page document, just the theory of change model, which basically says, what are we going to do? Where are we going to do it? Why are we going to do it? What outcomes do we want? What impact do we want to make? As simple as that. You put together a document that says before and after, basically. Before, this is the situation, this is the problem. Then what are we doing? What is our project? What is our action? And then after, what is the result? What is the impact that we made? And then that is your idea, and you put that into your own mind, you understand it fully. Because remember, someone who's going to invest in your business is going to ask you questions. And that's when it gets very tough. You can have a beautiful presentation and it's great, but then as soon as they ask you a question, you're like, I don't know, I never thought of that. Oh, I'm not sure what the outcome will be. No, I don't know. I just think it's a great idea to sell this stuff. I think it's a cool product. I don't know. That's when no one's going to fund you. And you have to see with all, those TV shows like Shark Tank and all of those, when they ask the question, that's when you have to be on point. Have all the answers, know what you're talking about, be passionate. Passion is everything. If you're not passionate and you're not excited to put in the hard work, then why would someone else be excited to join you? Why would someone else want to be part of it? So you have to have the passion, but you have to have the knowledge and the thought process and the evidence to back it up. So do your research. Maybe there's another organization that's very similar to you already doing that. So why would they choose you and not them? What's more special about you? What's your unique selling point? They always say USP, unique selling point. What is different about your organization? What is the special part of your organization? Why would they want to invest in yours and not the other competitors? So that's what you need to think about whenever you are trying to get funding.
Thank you so much, Amanda, for answering those questions. And as we were speaking about starting, I remember last year when I approached you having this concept of enable, and the first thing I thought about, okay, I need to register, and then you said to me, registration should actually be the last step. Start putting in the work, and then then we started with what we did. We started fundraising without even registration. And until this year, we were able to register. We have work that is backing us, that is our backup. We have evidence, and also people do know about now Enable, and we have even testimonials. So I just want to affirm that it's something that you live by, and it's not something that you're just speaking about today. You've told me, and I've applied that advice, and Enable is a product of that advice. And thank you so much for that. Yeah,
Well done
and
for you for taking the advice, eh? Some people
yes.
listen to the advice, but they just ignore it. So well done for taking the advice.
Yes. Thank you so much, Amanda. And then another thing, speaking of marketing, how can people access the YCAP toolkit? Because I think everyone, it might be helpful to everyone, the YCAP toolkit.
Yeah, sure. So firstly, there's a YouTube channel. If you just go to, say, YouTube and then Empowervate, Empower and Motivate is Empowervate, put that in your search button on Google, then you'll find videos that explain the toolkits and also success stories and all kinds of things on our YouTube channel. And then if you want the actual toolkits, you can email amanda@empowervate.org.
And also, okay, I will also write your email address down. Okay, I have a question. Okay, there's a new and a coming question right now, but there's something that I always wonder. The moment we speak of social entrepreneurship, I remember one day, it was 2016 or 15, if I'm not mistaken. I hosted a talent show. Maybe you remember, I told you that I'm hosting a talent show. And okay, tickets came in, and then we ended up spending so much, but I was only left with $50. Only $50 after the talent show. And I remember you said to me, you need to be able to make a living at the end of the day. So how does one strike a balance between being in social entrepreneurship, serving and also gaining a livelihood? Because at the end of the day, you don't want to be helping people, but you don't have food, you don't have clothes. How can one balance that?
No, for sure. No, it's very important. That's why budgeting comes in. So your financial plan, make sure that you know exactly what you need to live. Like put your own personal, I'm not talking about business, I'm saying your own personal budget so that you know exactly what you need to spend every month or every month and in a year to survive. That's what you have to start with. And this is not including, all the nice things that you want. This is the basics and maybe a few nice things. But like, don't go and say, I really need to have this fancy car. Because you don't really need that, right? You just need a car that works, or you don't really need a mansion, you need a house. You know what I'm saying? So do something of a needs analysis of what you need, and then look at what you want to make, what kind of business you want to have, and then you work out from there when you're doing a budget of the business, how much would you have to spend to do that project? So you have to research on how much is it going to cost you. If you're doing a talent show, like, is the venue going to cost you? Is there going to be food that you're going to provide, or are you going to sell the food? Are you going to charge tickets, entrance fee to come in? And if so, how much will you charge? Because that's also going to determine, It depends how many people are coming, and it depends how much you're paying for the venue, and it depends if you're selling the food or you're providing the food. All of those things are variables that you need to work out before you actually start the process. So don't just go and say, I'm doing a talent show, I'm going to make money without doing this, because that's what's going to happen to you. You're going to spend more and make less. And actually, you're lucky you even had 50 Rand profit. You could have gone into debt. You know what I'm saying? So you need to know, firstly, what is the amount. Let's say only 50 people are going to come to this event, and the venue's free and the food they have to buy there. Okay? So how much do you need to make from the event? That's what you first work out. How much do I need to make so that I make a profit, but I also manage to not rip people off? You don't want to have tickets that are like 500 Rand each. No one's going to come. You're not going to charge 10 Rand each because you're not going to make any money. So you now have to work out how much you're going to charge them for entrance. Then you have to work out what are you going to provide of value that's going to make them want to come. Because you say, okay, I know 50 people are going to come because those are my friends and family. But what about if you want the community to come? You want 100 or you want 200 people to come, and the venue can fit that many people and it's going to work. Then obviously you need to judge that and say, okay, what would they want to see? It's not just because you like this comedian that everyone's going to like it. You need to do research. So research is key. Research into the costs, research into what people want, whether it's surveys, whether it's just word of mouth, whether it's emails, whether it's WhatsApp. How are you going to find out what people want? So what I would do is a poll. Like on Facebook, they've got a poll. You can say, who would you like to see at our talent show? And then you put like 4 different options of people you could get at the talent show, not just randoms. And then you see what the results are. And then that will also tell you what you're looking at. Because if that comedian needs to be paid, then that also needs to go into your costings. If they don't like any of those options, maybe there's a button there, I don't like any of these options, then you have to rethink the whole thing. Because that's the whole thing that's why these event companies charge so much money. Because they're putting in the risk. It's their risk. If this doesn't work, if it's a concert and like 5 people come to it and they've booked a venue for 100, they've lost. They've lost money, they've lost marketing revenue, they've lost reputation. It's a lot. So whenever you do something, do that needs analysis of yourself, and then do the risk analysis, and then actually work out what you're going to put together, how much you're going to charge, what your projections are. Remember, they're estimates, they're projections of what you think you would make and how much profit you think you would make. But try and make it an estimated guess that is more like logical or realistic from the research that you've done. So if someone else has run an event before, go and speak to them, go and pick their brains and say, tell me how you did this, tell me how you did that, where did you get your suppliers, what kind of comedian did you have? Do that research first so that you can learn from their mistakes. Why must you make the same mistakes they made? There's no point in doing that. Go and find out from them, and you might actually find a better way of doing it in the end and be even more successful than them, or you might be just the same. But don't go and repeat mistakes that others have already made. That's my advice for that.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much, guys, and thank you so much, Amanda, for that. And we, when you're saying do not make mistakes that others actually have made, for me, I've also learned from my mistakes. Also, when I look at that 50 bucks, I'm not going back anymore. and we just received a question. We've got less than 3 minutes, but just a question that says the importance of volunteering. What is the importance of volunteering, and also what should one look for before joining a certain organization? Just shortly, can you give us an advice on that?
Okay, so importance of volunteering. I'd say volunteering is really important, especially when you're just finishing school or finishing university, you don't have any work experience. You need something on your CV. So that's the one benefit. Something on your CV saying, I have done this job. I have volunteered my time to be of value to this organization. So that is important. Also, then when you apply to a job, you can ask them for a letter of recommendation, which I know Mbui has done. And that helps because it's someone who's basically giving you a character reference. They're saying that I trust this person has been helpful, they're giving up their time, they're a good person. Then obviously they're going to be held in higher esteem than someone else who has nothing to show for themselves. Like, all I can show you is my school report. All I can show you is my marks. Like, that's all I have. Why would we look at you when we can look at someone who's actually gone above and beyond, given up their own time, put in effort, put in passion to go and make a change in another organization and help other people? It's a no-brainer. So obviously, I agree with volunteering, but make sure that the organization that you volunteer for is a reputable organization, that they treat you with respect, they don't abuse you, that they have guidelines, like a volunteer policy, which we have. So the volunteer policy, and every volunteer signs it. Also, there's an application form, they sign that. So at least everyone's going in with the same expectations. It's not like I think that if I go and do this event, then I will be paid for my taxi fare. And then when you get home, they're like, no, we don't pay for your taxi fare. Why would we do that? We didn't tell you we would. See, that's where miscommunication happens and things go wrong. That's why policies are important. So whenever you want to be a volunteer, ask those questions up front. I think I have to stop there because we're going to run out of time.
Yeah, yeah, most definitely. But thank you so much, Amanda, for your time today. And thank you to everyone who joined us. Tomorrow, we continue with the Pioneers Guild. And I'm sure after today's session, there are many people who are going to venture into social entrepreneurship with an open mind, with a better insight after the knowledge that you've shared with us. And tomorrow we're continuing. Tomorrow we're covering in entrepreneurship and innovation with Langa Zulu. To those who can join us, you can text me for the link. And also, guys, please like our Facebook page. And we have a YouTube channel. This video will be made available on the YouTube channel. I'd like to leave you with the words that says, we rise by lifting others. So there's no other way. We only rise by lifting others. It's not just about me. I want to be on top. I want people to know my name. But at the end of the day, it's impact that counts the most. Thank you, everyone who joined us today. Stay blessed.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, Amanda.